A rare East Coast earthquake has rattled nerves as people continue to feel aftershocks tonight. The U.S. Geological Survey says the 4.8 magnitude earthquake hit Hunterdon County, New Jersey around 10:23 this morning. It was several unsettling seconds as millions first felt confusion.
It was pretty nuts. I thought it was just construction going on next door.
I thought I was imagining things at first, but yeah, it's unexpected in Philadelphia.
Then, hours later, many homes and pets shook as a 3.8 aftershock jolted people for a second time. Thankfully, there are no reports of any injuries or widespread damage at this point. It is Friday night. Rick is off. I'm Gray Hall. The big story tonight on Action News is today's rare seismic activity. It was the biggest earthquake centered in our region in almost 250 years. There have been at least a dozen aftershocks, including one in Gladstone, Somerset County. It was strong enough to be felt here and had viewers calling into our newsroom a little after 6 tonight. We have live team coverage. Let's begin with Action News reporter Brianna Smith. She's live there in Gladstone. She felt the aftershock. Brianna.
That's right, Gray. I didn't experience the earthquake, but I felt that aftershock, and it was just so crazy and unexpected. I'm sure you've heard that a lot today, but it's so true. We were just in the middle of a conversation when we heard a loud boom. We felt the ground shake, and it was just unbelievable. But that's when residents told me it was nothing compared to that 4.8 magnitude earthquake that erupted in Tewksbury Township this morning.
It was so violent and so loud.
You can see Willow Nicolaitis freeze in this video when she felt the 4.8 magnitude earthquake while working at Melixtown Farm in Tewksbury Township. Then she ran as frames and glass shattered on the ground.
It almost sounded like an explosion.
The farm is about a mile away from the epicenter of the earthquake that erupted around 10:23 Friday morning.
You hear the building shake, you can hear everything vibrate.
Will Mielik was standing inside the store when a 3.8 magnitude aftershock occurred around 6 p.m., centered about 15 minutes away in Gladstone.
That was probably 25% of the first one, but it was the strongest aftershock, though.
The township's deputy mayor says crews spent the day assessing any damage in the area. The township's police department, along with neighboring Lebanon Township Police, received several calls from concerned residents due to fallen trees, collapsed brick walls, and impacted gas lines.
Pretty crazy, but then again, it's a normal day for us. Responding to calls for service for individuals and residents in the town.
In Gladstone, many felt the strong aftershock while inside Gladstone Tavern.
The walls were shaking, glass, you could definitely feel it in the floor. And people's drinks were going, there was some silverware noise.
It felt like a train was running underneath us.
Friday marks the second earthquake in this area in just 1 month, and residents hope it's the last.
Luckily enough, we had minimal damage to report, no injuries, no fatalities, and that's the best that you can get from this.
Definitely, again, thankfully, no injuries, but police advise residents and business owners if they have any damage to report it to Hunterdon County officials, and you can find the link on our website at 6abc.com. Live in Gladstone, Brianna Smith, Channel 6 Action News. Gray?
Yeah, an unforgettable day. Brianna, thanks for the update. Today's earthquake hitting along what is known as the Ramapo Fault, which spans about 185 miles across New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. In the past 20 years, the Philadelphia area has seen at least a dozen earthquakes greater than 2.5 on the Richter scale. But if today's earthquake had been centered under a major city, the damage could have been severe.
I think to be getting substantial damage, you need to be getting larger, 5.5 to 6, and you need to be putting it in an urban area.
The seismometer gives you a better look at the difference between the 4.8 earthquake that we felt today and that massive 7.8 earthquake in Taiwan that happened just days ago. We turn now to Action News reporter Brianna Gallagher. She's live there along the Parkway with more reaction to the quake and also that big aftershock. Brianna.
Yeah, Gray, people were once again questioning what exactly did they just feel. This time it was the aftershock.
And I turned on because I watched Brian Taft. So I was watching, and then I just felt a rumbling. And I said, that wasn't a truck.
Less than 8 hours after the initial earthquake, people felt the aftershock throughout the area.
I guess it was right around 6. And I noticed the noise this time around. This was quicker.
People in Ronhurst felt them both.
My little piece of jade fell on the floor, and I get up, and it must have been like for 3-4 seconds, and then it went away.
Michelle Bram described the aftershock as less intense compared to what she felt in the morning.
This one was definitely different this morning. You knew, like, the whole house shook, and you could feel it. And so it was a little bit of that, but dialed down at 6 o'clock, 6:01. So I knew that's what made me, I sat up, and I knew because my plants were swaying that might have been an aftershock.
Officials say there have been several aftershocks reported. According to the United States Geological Survey, the one at 6 o'clock had a 3.8 magnitude and was centered near Gladstone, New Jersey. People in Mayfair also felt it.
We just felt the bed shaking, and we're like, again?
And I ran in the back room to my fiance, and I was like, "Did you feel that?" He was like, "Yeah, I felt it again."
Thankfully, officials in Philadelphia said that no damage has been reported here, but they want to know that these aftershocks could continue for days or even weeks to come. We're live along the Parkway tonight. Brianna Gallagher, Channel 6 Action News. Gray?
Okay, Brianna, thank you. Our earthquake coverage continues with meteorologist Cecily Tynan over the Weather Center. Cecily, you said your dog was reacting even before it happened.
Yeah, like a second before it happened. And I heard a lot of people saying that. It seems like the dogs could kind of sense it before we did. And yes, we've had so many aftershocks. We've had 19 now. The highest magnitude 3.8. That happened officially at 5:59. Brian Taff was talking about it at the top of our newscast. And this really isn't unusual. You can have hundreds, you can have thousands of aftershocks. They all just have a lower magnitude than the main shock, the earthquake, which of course occurred at 10:23 over White House Station, Hunterdon County, New Jersey. This is the Ramapo fault line. This is a major fault line, runs across the northern part of our viewing area. And this is where we did see the earthquake and all the aftershocks, and those aftershocks are kind of a readjusting of the fault lines, so that could continue. So I think we're all kind of becoming experts on earthquakes. Remember the earthquake back in August 2011. It was centered over Washington, D.C. That was a 5.8, so it was actually farther away from today's 4.8. However, the Richter scale is logarithmic, so a 5.8 is actually 10 times bigger than the 4.8 and releases 30 times more energy. So that's why back in 2011, we saw quite a bit of structural damage here in Philadelphia. A lot of the monuments in Washington were also damaged. I will talk about the weather coming through the weekend and early next week. Things are settling down early next week. It's going to be warm and sunny. That's ahead in the AccuWeather 70 forecast. Great.
I'd like to hear that. Okay, Cecily, thank you. For more on today's earthquake and aftershocks, go to 6abc.com. There you'll find more videos and reaction from local residents and experts.